how you Hi everyone, my name is Carol Yeh-Garner, and I'm here to teach you how you are a powerful, successful person, and you can have a really successful Young Living business just by tweaking a couple things with the way that you think. So let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I started Young Living in October 2013. I had no intention of ever doing the business. At the time, I had a thriving hypnotherapy practice and I was teaching hypnobirthing classes, and I thought that's what I was put on earth to do. My husband was a first grade teacher and we were making pretty good money, but we were not making ends meet. We were living beyond our means. We had tons of credit card debt and no savings for college, for our kids, or even an emergency fund. And so we were constantly stressed about money, and I knew that I had to do something, but I was already working 4 nights a week and away from my kids, and I didn't want to give up my weekends, but I knew I had to find something. What I didn't know was my solution was Young Living. So in October 2013, I bought my starter kit. I thought I was just going to use thieves oil and the diffuser to help keep our immune system strong, but I ended up falling in love with the oils, having some success, and sharing my success on Facebook. And before you knew it, people were calling me and private messaging me and wanting to know, how can I get these oils? So before you knew it, I was doing the business. And now I'm at the top rank of the business. So I started in 2013 and I hit the top rank in February of 2016. So let's talk about how I got there, because I had to shift my mindset a lot. When I got my kit, I didn't want to do the business. I had fears all over the place. I didn't want to do the business because I didn't want to seem salesy to my friends. I didn't want to promote products because I was afraid of getting rejected and failing. I didn't want to do classes because I thought no one's going to show up. And I didn't want to sell because it made me feel uncomfortable and it made me feel weird taking money from my friends. And I felt super weird about being involved in a network marketing company. So any of this sound familiar to you? It's something that I hear from a lot of team members. And so I'm going to teach you a couple little things that you can do to tweak your mindset so that all of those blockages and fears will get out of the way. So first things first, I always teach about the 3 laws of the mind. I think it's super important. Every time I teach about these 3 things because I think everybody should know how powerful you are and how you can control the outcome of your life just by thinking the right kinds of things. So there are 2 parts to your mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part of your brain that is the thinking, planning, rational part. It's also the part of your brain that kind of freaks out and catastrophizes. The subconscious part of your brain is the super powerful part of your brain that we want to get access to. So it has 2 parts. One part controls all of the bodily functions, so it makes sure that your lungs are working, your heart is always beating, your stomach is digesting food. All of those things are taken care of automatically by the subconscious mind. The other part of the subconscious mind is like the hard drive memory of the computer that is your brain. So it's recorded every single thing that you've ever thought and every single thing that you've ever experienced into that hard drive memory. And so all of those negative thoughts that you've had, all of those fears, all of those blockage kind of thought processes, they're all recorded in that subconscious mind. And that's kind of scary, right? Because we tend to think negative statements about ourselves way more than what we think positively about ourselves. So when we try to make changes to our thought process or to our life, the changes usually aren't that long lasting because we're trying to change things in the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind and the memory part of the brain has this memory programmed into it. So here's where it gets fun, and I get to teach you how to change the subconscious mind and talk about the 3 laws of the mind. So law number 1 is that every thought creates a physical or chemical change. So that means every single thought that you have creates some kind of physical or chemical change in your body. So let's do a quick little experiment right now to show you how powerful your thought process is. I want you to think about a chalkboard, or just imagine a chalkboard, and imagine that I have really long acrylic nails on my fingers, and I'm going to drag my fingers down that chalkboard, and you're going to hear that awful sound that is nails on a chalkboard. So you might have felt tingling in the back of your neck, that just shudder kind of feeling of that sound. And what happened was your brain accessed that sound. There's no nails, there's no chalkboard, but your brain was able to access that memory in your hard drive memory to create that sound of nails on a chalkboard where you were just like, ugh, right? So every thought that we have creates some kind of physical or chemical change. And so think about how negative you think about yourself, how scared or fearful you think about building your Young Living business. All of those things are in that subconscious part of your mind. But we're going to show you how to get rid of them in just a little bit. Let's go on to law number 2. You can only think one thing at a time. You can't think 2 things at the same time. When you do, they cancel each other out, and then your brain goes, I don't know what you want me to do. Which one? I'm just going to stay stuck. So here's another example that I want you to do to show you the power of your mind. I want you to try to stand up. So go ahead and try to stand up. How many of you stood up and how many of you stayed sitting? Either way, it was wrong because I said try to stand up. And when your brain hears try, it needs to pick one or the other. You either picked stand up or sit down, or I'm not going to do this, right? But trying to stand up would actually mean that you're struggling to stand up. And probably none of you did that. So a word that I want you to eliminate from your vocabulary from now on is the word try. Because when you say try, your subconscious mind knows, I'm not 100% committed, I'm not into it. So you want to really focus on the decisions and the goals that you choose and focus only on those, not trying to get to the next rank, not trying to sell a kit. You are going to get to the next rank. You are selling kits. You are doing the work to have a successful Young Living business. It's just like losing weight, right? Like everybody knows in order to lose weight, you have to eat less, exercise more. But your brain, it likes food. It likes the pleasure of eating food, and it doesn't like the pleasure of exercising as much. So that subconscious memory programming of I like food better than I want to lose weight means that you might be successful for a little bit in terms of getting rid of weight, but it's probably not going to be a long-term change. So really be mindful about what you're thinking and how you're thinking. And when you catch yourself saying negative things or conflicting statements, I want you to be mindful and aware and stop that thought process in your head and say cancel, cancel, or delete, delete in your brain. So that way your brain, that subconscious memory, stops that process and then reinforce what you do choose. The statement of your goal, of what you choose, what you desire, what you want for your life in that moment. Make sense? Okay, so let's make sure that you're really doing the work that you need to do and have a successful business with your thought process. So law number 3 brings us to the fact that our thoughts precede our reality. That means your thoughts come before your reality, which is really trippy. But scientists have shown that it's actually proven that our thoughts are little waves of energy that go out into the universe, out into the atmosphere. And the law of energy is that anything that leaves its original source always comes back to its original source. So if you're thinking fearful thoughts about, I don't want to be pushy, I don't want to be rejected, I don't want to fail, I don't want to sell and be salesy, then all of those kinds of thoughts are the thoughts that we're attracting back to us. Yikes, right? Like that's not what we want to be doing. And that tends to be how we think. So it's really, really important to be mindful about all of the 3 laws of the mind. So I want to quickly talk about some other ways of showing you how powerful your thought process is. So Dr. Masaru Emoto wrote the book, The Hidden Messages of Water, The Hidden Messages in Water. And he showed that water molecules can change simply from a word being attached to that molecule. So he had water in a jar and it said love. He had water in a jar that said you fool. He had water in a jar that said thank you. When he would take one molecule of water out of each of those and look under a microscope, what he found was that the words that were positive, those water molecules look like beautiful snowflakes. And the words like you fool or I hate you, those water molecules ended up looking like blobs, unformed blobs. So our bodies are more than 70% water. And so if we're thinking negative thoughts, think about what we're doing to ourselves and our body and to ourselves, right? We're putting it out there and we're bringing it back. So it's really, really important to know that our thoughts are so, so powerful. So it uses that law number 1, every thought creates a physical chemical change, right? Because the word on the water created a physical or chemical change in that water molecule. And it's super important. We're 70% water, right? Another quick experiment that I want to talk about has to do with mirror neurons. This is another quick little explanation that shows you the power of your minds. So scientists took one cell and cut it in half and put half of it into a petri dish. The other half was in a different petri dish. They took the other half miles away. They wanted to see what would happen if they manipulated one side, one half of the cell. And they were astounded when they found that when they manipulated this half of the cell, the other half of the cell miles away showed the same reaction as if it was being manipulated, but it was miles away. So we have mirror neurons. We have an energetic field around us. And so if we're constantly feeling doubtful or scared or fearful about being pushy, being salesy, that's going to be transferred to anybody that we're talking to, whether they're in our sphere or on our phone and we're messaging them or in an email. There's going to be a disconnect between what we're saying and how the other person is feeling and receiving that information. So we really want to make sure that when we're sharing our love and our passion about these products, that we're sharing in a way that is going to have our mirror neurons match what we're saying. So let's talk a little bit more about fears and doubts. Remember those fears and doubts that I talked about? Fears of being pushy, fears of being salesy, rejected, failure, discomfort about taking money from friends, discomfort about being involved in a network marketing company. All of those have to do with our fears, right? But those are the things that are blocking us from a successful business. So let's break them down and do a reality check so that we can move forward with the right kind of mindset to have a successful Young Living business. All right, let's tackle who's fearful of being pushy or salesy. I think that's something that almost everybody that I know that is doing this as a business has a fear about. But what's the difference between a friend sharing a new product with you versus a friend who's being pushy about it, right? If a friend is sharing about a product and they genuinely love the product or they have had such a great success, you receive it in a positive way. But if they're trying to just tell you about this product because you know that they want to make money, then you feel that automatic ugh feeling, right? So the difference between both. They're both selling a product probably, but the difference is one feels genuine and authentic, and it ties to you personally and is probably going to be telling you how you can solve a problem that you're having, instead of the other version where someone is just talking to you about the product. So when someone comes from an inauthentic place and they're just sharing because their only reason for sharing is to make money, you can sense that those mirror neurons are working. And so when you share, just share authentically. Share from your own experiences or experiences that you've heard from your friends, from your team members. And if you share in a genuine way, it won't come across as pushy to other people. The energy is different. So by changing just that little way of thinking about it, you can move forward in your business and share in a way that's authentic. Now let's talk about fear of being rejected or failing. So everybody has the desire to feel safe, and it's scary to do things that are out of your comfort zone, like this presentation. But our brains are wired to want to keep us safe and to not do the things that are outside our comfort zone. It's really important to understand that it's our brain that's making us feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, I'm scared. But we need to remember our why of this business. Why are you doing this? Why are you sharing? Why do you want a Young Living business? Maybe it's to get just a little extra money to give you a cushion. Maybe it's to help you pay for your product. Maybe it's because you want to buy organic groceries for your family or pay for your kid to go to an extracurricular activity or whatever it is. Save for a vacation. But if we remember our why and know that our why is more important and our why is the reason why we're doing this Young Living business, then we can stay authentic, right? Here, that's the key that we keep going back to, is authenticity with this business. So you're gonna hear the word no a lot. And that doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means no right now. And maybe I need to do a little bit more work in terms of figuring out how I can help educate my friend to know that this is the product that's going to help solve their problems. Maybe I need to do a little bit more relationship building or detective work to find out what are the issues that they need help with. What have they tried already? What have they been frustrated about? So that I can help target what they're really, really needing help with. And if I can give them a solution to their issue, then it's not likely that I'm going to fail. I might get a no here and there, but no is okay. You've got to fail forward. You've got to hear the no's and then take those no's, reevaluate, what did I do? How did I do that? What do I need to do next? How can I learn from this? No. What can I do better next time? And when you do that, you'll grow and you'll push yourself out of your comfort zone and you'll do really, really well with your Young Living business. You're worth it. So definitely focus on shifting that mindset. If you get nervous, it's okay. That's a good sign. Just means keep moving forward. All right, let's talk about the next little thing that most people get uncomfortable about: making money. Making money off of friends, just making money in general, right? Let's break that down, because money is not a bad thing. Money is a good thing. The more money in the hands of good people, the more good that people can do. That's a quote directly from Mary Young, our CEO. And that really does mean that we all have this great opportunity to earn money, and every dollar that we earn is a certificate of health that we've changed somebody's lives. We've improved somebody's lives. And that in turn helps improve our life. How many of you have donated to a fundraiser for a nephew or a neighbor and just, gave $5, $10, $20? It feels good to give, right? And the more that we earn with our Young Living business, the more we can give in big ways to the Young Living Foundation or to any of the charities that you support. And that is a good thing, right? And being able to help our family members and our friends that are buying Young Living products, isn't that what this is all about? We want to help our friends and our family live a better life, a healthier life, a life full of wellness, purpose, and abundance. So let's shift the thinking in terms of not wanting to make money and shift it to being comfortable with making money, because we know that the money that we're going to make is going to do good things in the world. Let's talk about network marketing. A lot of people feel really weird about being involved in network marketing, but it's actually the best model of business. You don't need any special skills. You don't have to have a high school degree. A person that has a high school degree and a college degree, they start right where everybody else starts, at the bottom with their kit. And everybody has the same opportunity to grow or not grow, depending on what they do and how they do it and the time that they put in to their job. But most other businesses, the CEOs at the top of the triangle, they're making all the money, and it's not likely that someone at the bottom of the triangle could potentially out-earn the CEO. But with network marketing, you can actually outrank and out-earn the person that you signed up with, and even people above them. And I know that there are people above me that I have outranked and out-earned. And you can't do that with a 9-to-5 job. In a 9-to-5 job, you are told when to show up, what to do, when you can take your lunch break, when you can go on vacation, whether or not you can leave work to go take care of your sick kid, go to their school performance or whatever. With network marketing, you're your own boss. Your enroller, the person that signed you up, they're not your boss. They don't have any control over you. You get to make the decisions for your business. So it's a really great model. And the other part of the great model of network marketing is the more that you help others, the more you succeed. The more that you give and invest time to others on your team and help them rank up, that means that you're ranking up. And that means that you're earning more while you're helping others earn more. And that's unlike any other business model that I know of. So network marketing is actually a really great way of building a community and helping others, building them up, and then in turn being rewarded for that. So those are the things that usually keep us from building a successful business. And I hope that by breaking these things down a little bit and shifting your mindset and really implementing those 3 laws of your mind. Law number 1, every thought creates a physical and chemical change. Law number 2, you can only think one thing at a time. Law number 3, your thoughts precede your reality. Remembering about mirror neurons, remembering about how powerful a word is on a water molecule, you will be able to take that information and transform your life and your Young Living business so that you can be truly successful. Thanks so much for joining me. I so appreciate you coming to this workshop, and I hope you got a lot out of it, and enjoy the rest of convention. Thanks.